So the 2020-21 season is up and running. In this video I look back on the opening weekend. Hello, I'm Richard and welcome back to my channel over and over and over again, which features everything to do with Arsenal. In this video I just really want to steer a little bit away from Arsenal actually for a change and just look back at the opening weekend of the new Premier League season, just go over all the matches and what's happened really. But before I get into all that, I just want to make sure that you are subscribing to my channel. If you're enjoying what I'm doing, please click on the subscribe button. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up as well, and check back in. I'm doing lots of good stuff as we move into the new season. I've got a live show on Thursday this week, and there's a preview show of the West Ham game coming up as well, so loads more stuff besides all that. So I say please click on the subscribe button, and that helps me to grow the channel. That's very much appreciated. So the opening weekend of the Premier League season, where should we start? Well, obviously I did cover our game at Fulham in a little bit more detail yesterday, so if you saw that you'll know exactly what my thoughts were on that game. A 3-0 victory, of course, fantastic. I don't really want to go into that again, just to say that of course we are top of the league. So probably the highlight of the weekend in terms of the games was the game at Anfield between Liverpool and Leeds. Of course, last season's Premier League champions against last season's Championship champions. And to be fair, Leeds played really well, didn't they? They 3 times they came back to equalise. Fantastic. They played really open football. They were absolutely brilliant. But in the end, it wasn't quite enough for them, was it? As Liverpool won 4-3 thanks to a very, very late penalty at the Kop end, which is really unusual. Of course, Mo Salah scored a hat-trick, which made fantasy managers very, very happy, apart from me, of course, who didn't select him. But there's a lesson here to be learned perhaps for future weeks. So Liverpool, of course, won 4-3. Now, what that showed me was that there's a lot of hope now for the rest of the Premier League. I've been saying it all the way through the summer that I don't believe Liverpool are going to be as dominant this season. Of course, they're a good side, they're going to win a lot of games, but I don't think they're going to be running away with it as they were. And I think defensively, as you saw at the weekend, they were very, very vulnerable, wasn't they? Van Dijk's making mistakes. You know, he made some mistakes towards the end of last season as well. So it looks like maybe Arsenal with Gabriel have now got the better defender, but we shall see. But yeah, it gives me hope personally. I say we're at Anfield 2 weeks tonight, aren't we, for a league game there, and if Liverpool defend like they did on Saturday against us, then we're going to score some goals as well, and I'm sure defensively we're a lot more solid than Leeds, so I'm quite confident about that game now. But no doubt Liverpool will make some improvements between now and then. Of course, on Saturday also, Crystal Palace played Southampton at Selhurst Park, and they won 1-0 with a first half goal from Wilfried Zaha. Of course, Zaha's been linked with Arsenal quite a lot over the last couple of years. There's still rumours that he wants to get away from Crystal Palace, but he did actually play really well in that game. It was a great goal as well. I have to say though, I thought Southampton were very unlucky not to get something from the game. They played well, of course, at the end of last season, didn't they? Put in some great performances. They continued that on Saturday, and they were quite unfortunate not to get a result. The Crystal Palace goalkeeper made a couple of really good saves in that game to deny Southampton a share of the points. But Crystal Palace did win 1-0. Of course, Saturday also saw Newcastle win 2-0 away at West Ham. Of course, West Ham have got a lot of problems going on at the club, been well documented in recent weeks. And it does seem to be quite a lot of unrest there. They didn't play that badly, if we're honest, but Newcastle, of course, have had a great transfer window, haven't they? Some really good signings, and 2 of them, of course, scored the goals. Callum Wilson, of course, who arrived from Bournemouth, and Jeff Hendrick as well scored the second goal, having created the first goal. So they've made some good signings as well. Jamal Lewis, of course, left back as well, had a good debut, and of course Ryan Fraser, who came on as a substitute for his debut. So Newcastle looking like they've got a good side together this year. A good start to the season for them. A 2-0 win at West Ham. I do feel that they're going to be pushing up into the top half of the table this year. Could even be challenging in the top 8 actually with the signings that they've made. And Steve Bruce, of course, they'll always be organised, won't they, with Steve Bruce as manager. They may not be the most exciting team always to watch, but they've brought some exciting players, so we could see some good stuff from Newcastle this season, I think. Of course, on to Sunday now, and the first game saw Leicester try to overtake us at the top of the league when they visited their local rivals West Brom, of course newly promoted, and Leicester of course won 3-0. Now they did deserve to win that game, let's not try to pretend otherwise. I think the 3-0 scoreline was maybe a little bit harsh on West Brom. Of course it was 2 penalties which Jamie Vardy stuck away, which again of course was great for some fantasy league managers, but again not myself, who didn't pick Jamie Vardy either. So again, I need to review my team I think for forthcoming weeks. Missing out on a few penalty takers there, which has cost me a lot of points this week unfortunately. So I say Leicester ended up winning 3-0. It was 2 late penalties to seal that game, so they have moved level on points with us, but of course we're top on alphabetical order, as it should be the case. So unlucky Leicester. And of course the other game yesterday was a very, very disappointing result, wasn't it, for all of us. We were all devastated to hear that Everton won 1-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Now of course it was a bad performance by Tottenham all round, wasn't it? They looked out of sorts, they looked unfit. They didn't even look up for the game, did they? Even Jose Mourinho said as much afterwards. Everton, of course, with their new signings, look a great side this season. Actually, they look as though they could really push for the top 6 even with the signings that they've made. It was a solid start from them. They looked a good side. They played some good stuff. They were maybe unfortunate not to have maybe won by more than a single goal. It was a great goal as well, wasn't it? Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who I have got in my fantasy team, so at least he managed to get me some points. So cheers for that, Dominic, and I'll keep you in my team now for the next few weeks. So please carry on scoring goals. That would be much appreciated. So that was the games at the weekend. Of course, Manchester United and Manchester City both had the week off due to their later involvement in the European competitions. Neither of course neither of them of course won anything in Europe, which was a real shame, wasn't it? Although I did find it a little bit strange that Manchester United actually played Aston Villa in a friendly. Why they couldn't have just played the Premier League match between the sides at the weekend instead, I don't know. But anyway, that is for another day. Of course, tonight sees the final 2 games of week 1, which tonight it's the first game is Wolves against Sheffield United. Of course, both teams have come into the Premier League in recent years and done really well. Sheffield United had a great season last year. The test now is to see whether they can repeat that again this year. I've got my doubts as to whether they'll do quite as well. Other teams have bought really well. They've of course lost goalkeeper Dean Henderson, who was a big part of their success last year. I think they'll be fine. I just don't think they'll be quite as good as they were last year. I think maybe teams figured them out a little bit as well. And of course Wolves, who have had 2 really solid seasons in the Premier League now, have established themselves in the Europa League as well. I'm expecting similar stuff from them. They play great football, Wolves. They're a good team to watch. And I expect that game tonight will probably be a draw actually, but I do expect Wolves to again be really competitive, and again they'll be challenging in the top 6, top 8, won't they, I would imagine. And I have got 3 of their players in my fantasy team actually, including Jimenez and Traore. So if you 2 guys fancy scoring some goals and creating some goals tonight, that would be much appreciated, because I need to catch some points up, having missed out on quite a lot from some of the earlier players that I've mentioned. And of course the final game of the week is the late one tonight, which sees Chelsea go to Brighton. Now Brighton are one of my tips to struggle this season. I know they tend to struggle most seasons, so that's no surprise. I do like Graham Potter. I think he's done a good job there, and they do try and play some football. They're very direct obviously, but I just feel as though they maybe lack a little bit of quality to survive. I think it's going to be tough for them, and they might just about make it, but I do feel as though they're in for a season of struggle. Of course Chelsea have splashed out big money this summer. Some great new players come in, so I think a lot's expected of them. I do think it might take a little bit of time for all their new players to settle in, and they've got a few injuries at the moment as well. Obviously they'll start favourites tonight to win at Brighton, and I expect that they will, but I don't think it will be as easy as some people have predicted. Maybe the odd goal here and there, maybe a 2-1 or a 3-2 or something like that. Of course Chelsea's issues are stopping the other teams from scoring as much as anything else, isn't it? So we'll see if they've improved defensively over the summer, what work Frank Lampard's done on that. Just finally really, just noticed that the away teams have done really well so far out of the games played. Only 2 home teams won, and both of those sort of struggled to win, really, didn't they? You had Liverpool, perhaps they were fortunate to beat Leeds, and Crystal Palace were fortunate to beat Southampton as well. So the only 2 home wins were quite lucky, whereas the away teams seemed to win. A lot of them seemed to win quite comfortably, didn't they? With Arsenal's win at Fulham, of course. Leicester away at West Brom, Newcastle winning quite comfortably in the end at West Ham as well. So, and of course tonight's games, I'm not really expecting anything different. I don't expect. I think I say Wolves and Sheffield United, I think will be a draw. So I don't think the home team's going to win there, and it would be a big surprise, wouldn't it, if Brighton were to beat Chelsea? So it seems as though there's a more advantage to the away teams, which could be partly down to the way the fixtures have come out, but I think as well partly down to the fact that of course there's still no fans in the ground, is there? And I do think that the home advantage that does give you is obviously taken away at the moment. So be interesting to see what happens over the next few weeks with that. You know, whether more and more away teams are getting the results. I think it seemed to happen, didn't it, at the first when Project Restart first started, and then maybe the home teams adapted better to the lack of crowd in their home stadiums maybe towards the end, and a lot more home wins. But be interesting to see how that develops actually over the next few weeks. That was just a little kind of statistical thing that I noticed there. So there was a quick roundup there of obviously what happened over the weekend in the Premier League. I say there is still 2 games tonight. By the time you watch this, they may well have been finished, and the scores of them will come in. Hopefully we'll still be top of the league, and of course we play West Ham on Saturday, which is a great opportunity for us to get another 3 points after the poor start that they've had and the problems that they seem to be having as well off the field. So it's at the moment it's looking good. Just quickly, I just wanted to go over a couple of little transfer things. Emi Martinez apparently passed his medical at Aston Villa over the weekend ahead of a £20 million move to Villa Park. Obviously wish him the best of luck with that. I'm personally disappointed that he didn't want to stay with us and fight for his place, but he feels as he deserved first team regular football, and he's felt he's had to move to get that. So good luck, Emmy. Thanks for everything that you did for us, certainly towards the end of last season, with your great performances to help us win the FA Cup and the Community Shield, and also of course your 10 years loyal service to the club as well. So good luck for your new start at Aston Villa. Obviously I hope that Aston Villa stay up and that you have a great career with them. Also as well, there's still interest in us apparently with David Raya, the Brentford goalkeeper. There's no positive news on that yet, but I'm sure that once the Martinez deal is completed, we will then step up our pursuit, if you like, of him. Or if not, if that doesn't work, I'm sure we'll be bringing in a goalkeeper as backup for Bernd Leno. So that's that for today. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. I did pass 100 at the weekend, so I'm now on a mission to try to get 200 as quickly as possible. I'm going to be doing a lot of great stuff coming up now the season's up and running. I'm going to maybe make these a regular weekly thing on a Monday, looking back on the Premier League weekend. Also as well, previews of the next Arsenal game as well. I'll be doing one of those during the week for the West Ham game. I've got a live show Thursday night at 7 o'clock. There's some special guests joining me. We're going to look back on the Fulham game, look ahead to the West Ham game, and speak about a load of other issues in the world of Arsenal and the world of football as well. So tune in for that on Thursday at 7 o'clock on this channel. If you can, that would be great. Any questions that you might have for us on the night, please pop them in the comments at the time as well, would be great. So say that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit different, a little bit away from focusing on Arsenal, a little bit of a quiet day maybe on the Arsenal front at the moment. Just that little Martinez news. I'm sure there'll be more stuff to come. Still nothing on the Aubameyang contract, so but Arteta's told me not to panic, so I'm not going to panic. I'm going to be nice and calm about it and expect that to happen in the next couple of days. So look out for the video announcing that as well, probably on Wednesday or Thursday, I'm assuming. So that'll be good as well. So that's something to look forward to, isn't it? But that's that for today. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting my channel. Please subscribe. Please like this video. And in the meantime, until the next video, as always, come on you Gunners!